Hello, this is Dr. Don White, and this video provides an overview of how to use the Microsoft Word Merge file as part of the Senate Bill 7 Performance Ranking file from the Illinois Association of School Administrators. The first step in using this would be to download a copy of the file. So I'm going to go to the worksheet titled Directions and Disclaimers page within the Excel file. And when I get to the bottom, I notice that there's a link that says Senate Bill 7 Notification Letter 2425. Obviously, the year depends on which file you're using. So I'm going to click on the link. It opens a browser and it downloads the Microsoft Word file. So I'm going to click on that. It opens Microsoft Word. And then it's extremely important that I not have the Excel file open. So I'm going to go back to Microsoft Excel and I'm going to close the file that I had open. So anytime I want to do the merge process, please make sure that you have closed Microsoft Excel. And the reason for this is that the dates oftentimes do not populate correctly in Microsoft Word if I have the Excel file open. Unfortunately, I'm not able to determine why that's happening, but I just know that if you have Excel closed, it works better for the merge process. Now at the top, it says Enable Editing, so I'm going to click Enable Editing. If you do get a message that talks about a SQL command, please just say no. And now I will be able to save this file to my computer. So I'm going to go to the top and click File, Save As. And I recommend that you save this in the same folder that you've saved your Microsoft Excel file, just so that they're in the same folder. Not that it makes a difference, but in this case, I'll do something different, and I'm going to actually save this to my desktop. So I'm just going to call it whatever it was. I've downloaded it a couple times. That's why I have the 2 at the end of the file name. So I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm just going to click Save. It saves the file. Now I'm back to it. Now the next steps are to go out to the Excel file and find the data that I need to populate this letter. And you'll notice that there are fields. They've got brackets around them. I'll just highlight one here on the screen. Happens to be the tenure or contractual continued service. But that's a caret. That's a field that happens to be in the Excel file that this Word document is looking for. The next step is to complete the merge process. And to do that, I need to find that Excel file. So what I'm going to do is go to Mailings at the top, and where it says Select Recipients, I'm going to use an existing list because I already have it in the Excel file. So I'm going to click here. Now I'm going to go find that file wherever I've saved it. And I know I've saved it here, so I'm going to use a sample file. This one right here. It will open a command. You can expand this by clicking as I'm doing on the screen. It opens a command where it says which worksheet within that file do you want to use. It's extremely important because the headers make a difference. So remember I said the listings where there were brackets around them, those are those headers that I'm referring to. So I know it happens to be on this one called Merge Data Worksheet. That's the one that you want to find, and then I click OK. Now what it's doing is it's going out and looking at that Excel file, and it's merging that data. You'll notice nothing changed on my screen. If I actually want to see how the data looks, I can click on Preview Results at the top within the ribbon. Now I can see the information And this is a sample data set, so the numbers may not be correct. I've got extra digits here. But what it's done is it's gone out and found that Excel file. If I look over here on the right, you'll notice where it says most recent evaluation date, whatever the data has been entered, and the rating that it happens to be. So it looks to me like it's populating correctly. Now the next step is configuring this so that you only print one letter per teacher. This is extremely important if you have entered their current position in the Excel file and other eligible positions. The program will allow you to print one letter with all of that information combined, but we need to do some filtering within this Microsoft Word file. To do that, I'm going to go to Edit Recipient List, and then it's going out and it's finding all 5,000, or if you're using the plus file as I call it, all 20,000 rows, so it takes a few seconds for it to populate. Okay, it's populated and I can see it appear on this window. I can make this a little bit larger so that we can see it a little bit better. Move it up. Now, the next thing I need to do is select only current employees. I don't want to print letters for people that are no longer employed. So I go to Employee, where it says this column right here, and you'll notice that it says currently employed, no longer employed, currently employed, so forth and so on. So I can select the drop-down arrow and only select currently employed. So if I was to print now, it would print all of those letters for currently employed, current position, and other eligible. Well, I only want one letter per person. I don't want a letter that says just other eligible. So to do that, where I go to position type, I can click the drop-down arrow and say just their current position. Now again, their other eligible positions will still appear on this letter, but I will only get one letter per teacher. So then I click OK. And now it's populated that correctly. So as I scroll through, where you can see at the top where it says 1, as I go to teacher 2, it's a different teacher. Teacher 3 is a different teacher, so forth and so on. And now I can print this by clicking Finish and Merge. And I'm going to click Print Documents. And I'm going to say All. Now when it says All, it's really all that I filtered to, not all of the letters. So that's an important piece of information. So I click OK. And I'm going to just print it to an Adobe PDF. You will probably select your local printer, whatever that happens to be. I'm going to say OK. And I'm going to save it to my desktop for right now. So I'm just going to click Save. And now what it's going to do is it's going to go through all of those letters and print per teacher, one letter per teacher. Once this is completed, it will open Adobe Acrobat on my computer, and I will be able to see the letters. Okay, once that process is completed, I can open the file, or it would have automatically opened for me. The process is completed, and I can see on my screen that it opened Adobe Acrobat, and I can see that the letters have correctly printed for each of the teachers as I scroll through here. Of course, yours would be paper copies if you printed to an actual printer. I'm going to close this. Now, a couple other notes. Before you print, you want to make sure that your Microsoft Excel file is complete, that you've entered all the data, that you have it as accurate as can be. And the other piece within this Microsoft Word file, you can change certain pieces of information. So if I turn off the preview results in the Word file, I do not want to change anything that has the carets or the brackets around it, because that will alter what I'm seeing on the screen, and it will alter the ability of this program to do the merge process. The parts that I can change are any text that does not have carets around it. So example, you see from at the top here. Enter superintendent's name here. So obviously no carets. You can change this information. You can change the subject if you care to, the date if you care to, even though I have it auto-populating the current date. Then you can also change this information that I provided right here. Maybe you want some other text as part of this letter. You can see that I've provided information about what they need to do with this letter once you send it to teachers, and so forth and so on. I don't recommend that you change any of the information in the tables that are provided in this document. That's up to you. But certainly you do not want to change any of the information that has carets. You can scroll down. You'll notice that there are no carets on the highlight part or the highlighted part of the screen. You can change that. I don't recommend it, but it's completely up to you if you care to do that. I've provided some text down here, which gives the background of the groups. You can change that if you care to. Again, I don't necessarily recommend you change this information. You might want to change the information here. Here's the next steps. You can change this because, again, it doesn't have carets. If you also want to change anything about the employee returning this with a signature and their date, that's completely up to you. The last thing I would say, this is an optional process. Please know that, unfortunately, I can't provide much guidance on this because the way the process works to go from Excel to Microsoft Word is oftentimes dependent on the settings within the local computer. If you do run into a problem, the best I can do is ask you to send me your Excel file, and I will try to run the letters as a PDF so that you can see that I was successful. That doesn't give you much guidance, and I apologize for that. I wish I could help you more with that. But again, I can't control many of the variables on a local computer and or the versions of Microsoft Excel and Microsoft Word and all those kinds of things. So I hope this video has been helpful. Please know that I am here to answer questions. If you'd like to reach out, it is SB7 at iasasurveys.org. Thank you very much.